Hello, Grüß Gott. On this video, we're going to be installing new sway bar bushings on our 19mm sway bar, and that's on a 1997 Toyota 4Runner two-wheel drive. And this is Prothane part number 18-1116. It comes with all the items you see here. In our case, it happens to come with some grease, but if you don't have grease, if it doesn't come with it when you order yours, you can use some Mission Automotive silicone paste, and that should work really well. So we're gonna get underneath the car and show you what we're gonna be disconnecting. So we'll get all that done here in a second. Also, you should always wear safety glasses when you're working with mechanical things. Okay, I'm on the passenger side, and the first thing I'm gonna do is take the nut loose on the sway bar end link. As I mentioned before, you always wanna wear your safety glasses when you're working like this. You're going to take a 14mm wrench and you're going to put it on the lower portion down here, and that's going to allow you to keep that from turning while you take the top nut off. Of course, there's not much room to work here. So I'm using one of these long wrenches. It's a Clutch brand wrench from Northern Tool. Love these things. So I'm going to work this loose. I'm going to take the nut completely off, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so once you remove the nut, you're going to be able to pull this top piece off. It has like a metal washer. Then it has like a nipple that goes down. And on the other side is the opposite. It comes up so that the two nipples join in the center. And so I'm going to go take the other side off so the whole sway bar will rotate down, and it will release these, and then I will come back and I'll show you how to reassemble it with the new pieces. Also, I wanted to mention that before you try to take these nuts off, you want to use some PB Blast a couple of days ahead of time. We used some a few days ago. That's really probably the only way you're going to get them loose if they're kind of rusty like ours are. So I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so here's the old bushings. They're really hard. I would expect them to be probably that after almost 20 years. And these are a bit rusty, so fortunately the kit comes with some new components, and we're going to grease everything really well with the grease that comes with the kit. And these end up going together like this. Basically it assembles something like this with the metal piece in between the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to also use some Loctite for the nut. And we're going to put these together just barely, so very loosely, so that we can get underneath the truck and replace the other components. So we're going to grease these really, really well though, so that they won't squeak or make noises. So I wanted to show you real quick. I put the grease around here and also inside, and I'm going to put some on here as well, where these two surfaces touch. And I'm going to put them, well, this goes like this, and I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to move it around so the grease gets distributed. And so we're going to do that, and then we'll start on the underneath. So there is one washer you're going to need to reuse, and that's this one. It has a funny look to it. It goes underneath, so it ends up making a sandwich like this. And then this will go on top, and then you'll put the nut to hold it in place. You'll see it as you take it apart, how it goes back together. So again, we're going to come back in a minute and look at underneath. Okay, so here's the old bracket and bushing assembly, and here's one of the new ones. And these actually open up. And what we're going to do is, there's some grooves in there. We're going to thoroughly grease inside of here, and also on the outside here, and then we're going to put these over the sway bar and reinstall them. And so we're going to get that done, and we'll come back and talk about it. All right, so on the rear brackets, when we took the bolts out, one of them snapped off, so I had to carefully drill it out and then remove the pieces of the bolt, but we were able to do that successfully. So we went down to the hardware store and bought some metric bolts. These are grade 10.9. So you want to get some really grade 10 or higher bolts. So these should go in, and these have the built-in washer. So we're going to use Loctite on them. And then we got some nylock nuts of the correct thread pitch to put onto the links so that there's no way they're ever going to come loose. We already Loctited the nuts on, but we'll put these on just as a backing nut. So we're going to get all that set up and done, and then we'll come back and show you the result. As an extra precaution, we're putting nylock nuts on top of these links here. So I'm just going to use my long ratchet to put them on, just barely snug them down. And that'll finish this part, and then I'll show you underneath how we finished up the other part with the brand new bolts that are hardened. So I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see here, we have the brackets put on with the brand new bolts. Now, there are torque specifications for them. Since this vehicle was up in Massachusetts and has a little bit of rust and we had so much trouble getting the old bolts out, we decided just to Loctite with medium strength Loctite, put a whole lot on the threads and snug them up real good. I would estimate about 20 foot-pounds, but certainly no more, because I just don't want to end up stripping out the threads because, like I said, they've been rusted a little bit. So we got all that done, tightened up, and that's all finished. So in the description, we'll put down the various items where we bought them and the various types of things like lock nuts, what size thread they were. And so that's everything there is to this video. It's a pretty easy job. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 2 or 3. So hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.